Ryan here with Overclocked PC. Today I was going to talk to you a little bit about my computer and what I use for my stuff. I'll go through the specs here in just a second. I've been playing around with a little bit of benchmarks and I've been trying to break some of the records. Unfortunately, with the graphics card I have not been able to. It's not very fond of overclocking too much with where it's at already from the factory. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn the camera around and I'll walk you through my setup a little bit. So here's a little bit of what I've been able to achieve so far on my PC. 11,533 on the score graphics test, getting a 12,326 with a CPU score of 8,455. This is just with an i7-9700K and one single RTX 2080. I'll be able to show you some of my temperatures here with having the processor clocked as high as I did. We'll see, even on this water, I've had a max temperature of 83 degrees Celsius. GPU temperatures stayed pretty stable around the 50 degrees Celsius. So all around, I'd say that stayed pretty cool. We'll go over here. I'll show you guys here. I was able to achieve up to 5.3 gigahertz on the clock on the processor. It usually sat around 5.1, 5.2. That's just on the turbo clock. This is all only with XMP enabled on the memory, so I didn't do any overclocking on the memory whatsoever, which I have a lot of headroom to do so. It's just kind of finicky to play with, and so I just left it for now. Maybe later on, we'll go through and we will mess with that a little bit and see if I can get it higher. Now what I was trying to do with this setup here is I was trying to break that score right there. 12,202 is with one 9700K and a single RTX 2080 build. It's not that easy to get up that high, you guys. It's really kind of a challenge with this. I would like to know, I tried to make a recording of this using the OBS software so that I could show you guys some of the benchmarking in benchmarks and use the screen on my computer instead of using this camera here to show you on the screen. And for unknown reasons, it really struggled recording during the graphics tests, and it showed my benchmark incredibly lower than it normally ever is. So just so you guys know, I'm going to be doing a little bit of testing here in gaming and seeing if the OBS software actually decreases your frame per second rate in game as well while you're streaming. So look forward to that. So this is kind of what I found interesting about the OBS software. Right here, this is how it recorded during the graphics test by itself. It just kind of locked up, wouldn't show a whole lot. As you can see right here, the video is playing. It's just locked up on the graphics test only. Now, when we skip ahead to the other test, when we come over here to the CPU test, we had no struggles whatsoever. So this one ran completely smooth, but all the graphics tests didn't want to record using the OBS software. So I found that kind of interesting, guys. I'll be playing around with OBS a little bit later. We'll be messing around with some of the streaming, some of the recording in games, and see if we see any, any issues with that. Now here I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what's in this PC. So I've had a lot of people asking me about this. I actually use an XSPC water block for the processor. It's not because I think they're the best or the worst. I just really like the way the white looked in this case. I've honestly considered getting one of the EK water block RGB, but I don't really want to, unicorn vomit this thing up way too much. Right here we have an RM 1000i Special Edition. It is one of 100 power supplies that was released. I of course use the cable mod cables. I love this cable mod pro kit. I tell everybody I know that wants to build a show class PC to definitely try out the cable mod pro kits, because they are just the most beautiful cables you'll ever see. All Primo Chill PETG piping, thermal take temperature. I got the EK water block pump reservoir combo. I use the XSPC radiators. This is a 280, this is a 360 up top. I have a couple random solid states living on the backside here. I have an NVMe Samsung solid state drive in there, 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro, 3200 megahertz. That's why I bought that one, so I could just enable XMP and not have RAM issues. The motherboard is an MSI Ace, and honestly, I went with the MSI motherboard over the Asus motherboard because I was told it had more overclocking headroom, and I watched a couple of the videos and people talked about the your power up here, and well, I wasn't able to overclock my last one. I used to have a Z170 formula with a 6700K previous to this, and I was unable to overclock it nearly as much on the motherboard. It kind of was, I mean, I liked the BIOS a lot more, but the overall experience with overclocking gave me a lot more problems. Just so you guys know a little bit about this case itself, this is a Corsair 760T. I've completely deleted the front disk drives and everything, got a acrylic piece cut out that says Corsair on it because I just think it looked really good. I ended up cutting out all the drive trays. I took all the hard drive trays out. I like this case a lot as far as the size. I wasn't really happy with how it was, when you get it from the factory. I wanted a little bit more room for water cooling, overclocking, headway, everything like that. So anyway, that's going to be it for me today. If you have any more questions for me, just leave a comment below. Hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.